Good morning, nurses. I want to welcome you to our workshop today. And my name is Bridget Bethany. I'm a nurse for many years, and also an author and a presenter. My book here is Spiritual Vitamins, The Heart and Soul of Today's Nurse. It's available at Amazon.com. And in this book, I've taken some excerpt from the book today to talk to you about compassion fatigue. And I know that nurses and all healthcare givers know something about compassion fatigue, because I know I've been through it, and I know many people are going through it, especially some of our healthcare workers, nurses who have been in the field for years. And so I want to talk about the signs and symptoms that you would see on yourself or your coworkers, and you want to label that as compassion fatigue. One of the first signs you would see is when you yourself or your coworker begins to keep their emotions all bottled up. If you see that, Susie, Mary that you work with, talkative, all of a sudden she's just keeping things inside and you're wondering what's going on, she's probably going through what we call compassion fatigue. Most of the people that suffer from compassion fatigue are usually nurses that are very giving. These are people who go above and beyond. These are people who's got your back when you're in the unit. These are people who will take care of your patients when you're in the bathroom or getting lunch or, got to leave early. These are the people who say, don't worry, Susie, I got your back. They go way beyond the call of duty. These are the nurses that I'm talking about. These are the nurses that get upset within themselves when things just don't go their way, when a patient is not agreeing to the treatment or a patient is not welcoming this nurse's advances to get them well. They feel bad. They go home crying, what could I do better? You are the one who may be suffering from compassion fatigue. And this is one of my passions, is to reach nurses and talk to them about how to avoid compassion fatigue and how to really, look within yourself and see the signs when they come upon you. So keeping those emotions inside of you, it's really one of the first signs. The other sign is isolation from other people. This is where you are trying to keep yourself from having to talk to people about how you're feeling. You're feeling like, I don't think anybody's going to understand how I feel. How would I understand that? I tried to help a patient today and they just would not let me. Who would understand that? They're going to call me a wimp, and they're going to call me, get in touch with reality. So they bottle it up and they isolate themselves. And then if they work with you, you probably see that they're going to start calling out sick a lot. Chronic absenteeism is what you're going to see begin to happen with this coworker or with yourself. Okay, and then the other issue, number 3, is complaining. This is a person who is so good in everybody. All of a sudden, they're beginning to complain about you, co-workers. They're complaining about their manager. Oh, I can do better than she is. She's stupid. She doesn't know what's going on in the unit. She comes late and leaves early, so I know this unit better than she is. You complain about the patients and you're yelling. And this is the third signs to look out for. You begin to have negative attitude. And what that does is affects everybody else around you. Everyone feels like, oh, let's not get next to her today, People just, their attitude just drops with you. When you begin to be nasty and complaining, that attitude just changes the whole atmosphere of the unit. Everyone begins to feel drawn into that negative attitude. So that's another sign. Another one is substance abuse, use, and cover-up. You find nurses that begin to drink. They never did before, but they begin to drink. They need to drown that sorrow. They need to drown, whatever issues going on, making them feel inadequate. Okay, so they begin to go the path of substance abuse. And it is not, that's the area where if you are working with someone like this, it is not a good idea to let them continue in this path. It is a time when you need to get together with your management or with other coworkers and say, I think we need to do something, because if you let it go, chances are you're going to affect, it may have a negative effect on the patients that your coworkers taking care of. You may even begin to have a very bad effect in the unit as a whole. So you want, this time, you want to say, okay, it's time to talk. Grab your coworker, say, let's go downstairs, or after work, you want to go get a, hamburger somewhere to talk about what's going on, what's happening with you. And chances are they're going to open up to you. They're going to say, okay, here's what's going on, because now they feel they can confide in you away from the environment where they feel threatened. All right, so this is what, what needs to happen at this point when you see that your coworker or yourself is beginning to get into drug abuse. You need to be able to confide in someone. Find someone you need to confide with. The other one is poor self-care. Okay, so if you are beginning to neglect yourself, if you're beginning to, your hair is dripping wet when you come to work and you wore the same uniform or scrubs 2 days in a row, it's time. It's time. It's a big telltale sign that you're not taking care of yourself. You're so involved with your feelings that you're not even able to even care for yourself. This is time when you say, okay, Susie, what's happening? I think you wore this yesterday, and thank God you took a shower this morning. But this is one of the telltale signs, poor self-care. And then you're mentally and physically exhausted. You're sick, you're depressed, your affect is very, very flat. Everyone can tell that you're just not there. They can't tell, is she happy or is she sad today? For the most part, you just look sad all the time. And people just feel like they can't connect with you anymore. You're just sad. Migraines, you're getting a lot of migraines. And if you go to a coach, I have friends who are coaches, and they will tell you if you're, stressed out and you're getting a lot of migraines, you need to look into that. Something else is going on mentally. You're getting a lot of stomach upsets and GI problems. Mentally, something is going on. And so it's not a good sign. It's just, and these are simple situations that can be easily taken care of if you could just sit quiet for a minute and say, okay, what's happening here? And what do I need to do to make this U-turn and turn around? But the last signs and symptoms is most people are in denial. And they're in denial, that's not me. What's going on here? I'll be better tomorrow. And this is just a phase I'm going through. So, I'm middle-aged or whatever, or if my husband or my wife or the kids could just help out a little bit more in the house, I'll be just fine. So they're in denial, and that's the really, really dangerous part to be in when you're in denial, because the longer you stay in denial, the more these issues are just going to hang there, and they're going to stay there. They're going to affect you and everybody else, your family. The kids see you. You come home, they're running up the steps to lock the door, And then, if you're working, your coworkers are going to go, oh my gosh, Susie's working today. Remind me not to sign up to work when she's working. It's not good. It's just not. It's not a good idea to let it just linger. Help is everywhere. And I'm going to talk about that when I talk about just the 3 steps to combat compassion fatigue. The first step, of course, is the me first syndrome. Yeah, nurses, we don't like to talk about me first. Yeah, me first, shifting everything to you. Priority, you become the #1 priority for yourself. You may say it sounds selfish. After all, we're here to give help. Yes. After you give that help, you need to go back and take care of yourself. How are you going to help somebody else if you don't take care of yourself first? So me first is the first thing you want to do to stop this roller coaster of compassion fatigue. You want to listen to yourself. Am I yelling at people lately? Am I going into a patient's room going, okay, and just rolling your eyes because the patient's called you maybe 3 times in the past 5 minutes? Are you having to apologize all the time. I'm sorry I did this and that and that. So you need to now listen to yourself, and you want to get back in tune with yourself and figure out where is this coming from. In line with that, you want to maybe find a way to, stop this. You want to start meditating. Meditation works wonders. It doesn't have to be 45 minutes like the meditation gurus. You can do a 10-minute meditation. If you're in the hospital, you can run to the bathroom and just meditate for a while. In my, as a radio talk host, I always start my program with meditation. You can actually just sit back for a few minutes and just focus on one thing that makes you happy, a picture of someone that makes you happy, a picture of your baby, a picture of your spouse, or that last vacation you had, and just get that in your mind and sit and meditate for a few minutes. Meditation works wonders, absolutely. It doesn't have to be 45 minutes, 10 minutes at the tops. And you can do that anywhere. And me first, do something good for yourself when you get paid, okay? So you work for it. On your payday, go get a new shade of lipstick, You say, oh my God, I'm gonna spend all my money, I have mortgage to pay. Lipstick, I don't think it costs $10 these days. Get a new shade, get a new sweater, get a manicure, your hair, take care of yourself. Do something just for you. Go out and browse. I'm not a browser myself, but if you are, just go out and browse and say, one of these days I'm gonna get that. I have a wonderful coworker, she just told her, she said, that someday is today. Instead of saying someday I'm gonna get this for myself, make a plan to get it today, okay? Do something good for yourself when you, on your payday. Get a massage, okay? Self-care. Again, taking care of yourself physically and mentally. When you look good, everybody else is going to look good around you. You don't care, everyone just looks good, It's like you have roses in your glasses. So stop and smell the roses. Take care of yourself and eat right and eat well. You need to eat to live and not live to eat. Somebody told me that. I said, wow, it's powerful. Eat to live and not live to eat. You shouldn't be the one that sees food and eats it, because when you do that, guess what? The emotions, you're just doing that to cover up your emotions. You're going to gain weight, and then that's another issue you have to take care of. So eat right. If you can eat organically as much as possible, fruits and vegetables. I love the happy foods like the blueberry, the strawberry, and the blackberry. These are my happy foods, and the raspberry, filled with loads of antioxidants. Because when you eat them, your body feels good and you feel happy. So these are my happy fruits and vegetables, the blueberries. Use aromatherapy, okay? Use that in your bath, and we call that sensory modulations. Use that, it just makes your senses feel good. And so use that in your bath, use that, to massage your hands. Any little thing to do to make yourself happy, it's worth it. And then the last thing I want to say is that you need to accept that there are people in the world that you can't change. If you're one of those people that just want to make everybody happy, know today that there's people you just can't change. Embrace the things you can change one day at a time, okay? The last thing I want to leave you is I heard a story about the preacher who was preaching to the in a funeral, and it was a person who was had passed away. Everybody knew in the community that this person was not a good person, but the preacher said good things about this person. But as the preacher was saying good things, that the family went and looked at the casket and said, I just want to make sure that's the person you're talking about. What are people going to say about you when something happens? Are they going to say she just worked herself to, So do something good for yourself, okay? Be good to yourself. And as I always say, find something good to smile about today. Thank you. I love you. Stay well.